Hey everybody, 40 the Broadway saying here. Before I start this video, I do want to let you guys know that I just hit 1,500 subscribers, which was my goal before the end of the year, and I can't believe I hit that goal early. I want to give my first and utmost thanks to God, because without Him, none of this would be possible, and all the glory goes to Him and all this hard work that I've put into. I also want to thank my loving wife, who's been there with me all through this time. I want to thank my family, I want to thank my friends, and I want to thank you guys, my followers, my subscribers, for helping me with this journey and starting this YouTube channel so I could share my gaming, my music, my cosplay, and everything in this world that just makes me happy to make you guys happy. To celebrate this 1,500 subscriber mark, I will be doing a giveaway, and I'm not entirely sure what it is that I'm going to be giving away yet. I do have to double check, my budget and everything like that, but I do want to give back, so stay tuned for that giveaway video. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video. Thanks, everyone. Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saying YouTube channel. I'm your host 40 and we are back with another video on the Alchemist Code, and this time we are going to be doing a character spotlight on our favorite ice princess from the Brave Frontier collaboration, Selena. Now before I get into this video, I do want to let you guys know that most of the information that I get on these character spotlights come from the Alchemist Code Global subreddit. It also comes from the Alchemist Code Global Facebook group that I created, which is the Alchemist Code Global Mahal, and there's also two other Alchemist Code Global Facebook groups that I'm a part of, which is the larger one, the Alchemist Code Global, that's what they're called, and then there's also the Alchemist Code Global Filipino community, because I myself am Filipino, so I wanted to be a part of that community. So shout outs to all of those communities. Thank you for helping me come up with the information for these character spotlight videos. Now the other thing I want to mention is from now on, when I do these character spotlight videos, I'm gonna try my best to not mention anything in regards to JP content, which is future content. The reason being is I want you guys to enjoy these characters as they come out for the global release. When you get too focused on like, oh, is this character gonna be good down the line, you tend to lose some of the fun in the game. Okay, and then also one thing that I'm also going to do is I'm going to try my best to not even mention where this character sits on the tier list. There are, many resources for that you guys, I encourage you guys to look up so you guys can make the decision for yourselves on whether or not you want to invest in these characters. So these videos are going to be mainly about the character itself and what are my personal takes on them. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So we're going to take a look at Selena. Alright, so the first thing we always like to do is just, kind of look at the flavor of how she pertains to the story. So she's from the Sama Kingdom. She has no details, seeing as she's a guest character. And it says right here, she is one of the 6 fabled heroes guided to this world from the Sama Kingdom. She's usually a cheerful, friendly person, but when it comes to combat, seeing her sword skills can literally give you the chills. Her friends are most precious to her, and she fights so she'll never have to lose a friend again. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at beneath that is her range. So she is a single target melee character using just her regular attack. So that is going to be her range. So just keep that in mind. Her leader skill is Pure Water's Trance, which raises the physical attack by 30% for water units. So units that would definitely benefit from this would be units such as like Regan would benefit from this, or Lamia would benefit from this. And then if you want, you can add in like a mage such as like a Feng Lu, if you want a mage in there, or if you want some support, you can add Elizabeth. So if you want to build like a pure water team, this benefits that type of a team. Physical attack. Okay, and then now we're going to go ahead and take a look at her jobs. So her first job right out of the box is none other than the Ice Swordsman. The Ice Swordsman comes with 2 abilities. The innate one is Ice Blade, which contains the abilities Water Guardian, which recovers her own HP and greatly raises her physical defense and magic defense for 1 turn, but at the cost of her evasion. She has Ethereal Blade, which inflicts water damage on units within the target area, so it has a range of 3. It is a scope of 3 by 3, and the height is 2. She has Spirit of the Ice Swordsman, where she will be able to survive fatal damage and stay alive once on the verge of death. And the last technique she'll learn from this is Blizzard Pain, which inflicts water damage on units within a target area. Scope 5x5 diamond, height, range 2. Her secondary is basic Ice Blade. She has Ice Blade Assault, which inflicts water damage on units and can stun them. It has a range of 1, a scope of 3 lateral, and a height range of 2. Her second skill is Ice Blade Crush, which inflicts water slash damage and lowers physical attack of units within the target area. So this has a range of 1, scope 3 lateral, and height range of 2. And she also has Ice Guard Crush, which again inflicts water slash damage and lowers physical defense of units within the target area. So this one also has a range 1, scope 3 lateral, and height range 2. Now her reactive skill that she gets from this is Stance of the Ice Swordsman +1. So this one, if you guys are familiar with Vettel's skill, very similar to that, or I believe Logi and Chloe also has this, since the Ice Swordsman is essentially the water version of the Holy Knight, so she has a chance of defending when receiving damage. So whenever she takes damage, she has a chance of defending it. The character will usually react by like saying something when they get hit, and it usually lowers the amount of damage by a pretty significant amount. The passives that you would get from Ice Swordsman is Guard Up, which raises the physical defense and max HP for Selena. Now moving on, we're going to go ahead and take a look at her second class, which is we're all familiar with, is the Magic Swordsman. So the Magic Swordsman again gets Magic Blade, which has Binding Sword, which inflicts magic damage and a chance of inflicting bind. This is again just a 1 range and height range 1. Dazing Sword inflicts magic damage and has a chance of inflicting daze. Silencing Sword, again magic damage and chance of inflicting silence. Stone Sword, magic damage, chance of inflicting petrify. And now these are the ones that are different. Flare Sword inflicts fire magic damage, but it has a range of 3, scope 1 square line, and height range 1. So this one has a little bit of more range compared to the other ones. Same thing with Blizzard Sword. Is the same thing as Flare, where it's the same range, but it inflicts water damage. And then she has Blasting Sword, which inflicts wind damage, and Spark Sword, which inflicts thunder damage. So those last 4 skills are all the ones that are range, but they are just in a straight line up to 3 squares. So keep that in mind. And then we're all familiar with this, but her secondary skill is basic Magic Blade. So this one, it gives her the elemental flexibility with Fire Sword, Ice Sword, Arrow Sword, and Thunder Sword. And remember, all of these are just a range 1, height 1. So they're literally either just in front of her or to the side of her. The range is pretty much the same as like a regular melee attack. And then the reactive ability is Absorb Jewels. Again, so when she receives damage, she has also a chance of absorbing jewels. So it allows her to use her skills faster. And then her passive is Divine Shelter, which raises all elemental resistances, which, as we all know, is very, very useful and valuable for Selena, since she will have elemental resistances across all the different elements. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to her final class, which is Ice Princess. So this is essentially the water version of the Holy Cavalier, which contains Treasure Blade. So Treasure Blade is essentially the water version of the Holy Cavalier's main abilities. So this one, she gets Neptune's Protection, which is essentially an upgraded version. It recovers her own HP, greatly raises her physical and magic defense, but at the cost of her evasion. She gains Blizzard Strike, which inflicts water damage on units within a target area. So this one has a range of 3. The scope is a 3x3 cross, and the height is 2. So essentially, she can hit multiple targets with this, up to 5, but they have to be within the same height because the height range is only 2. She has Neptune's Prayer, which allows her, again, to survive a fatal damage once. And then she has Frozen Orchid, which is very similar to the Holy Cavalier's Lionheart, where it inflicts water damage on units within the target area. This one is a scope of a 5x5 diamond, which is around her, and the height range is 2. Her secondary skill is Basic Treasure Blade, which has Splendid Break. So this one inflicts water damage and stuns units within the target area. So this one has a range of 1, but the scope 3 is lateral. So it literally forms a square around her, and the height range is 2. So it has a little bit more range compared to, like, you know, a standard melee skill. She also gets Burst Blizzard, which inflicts water slash damage and lowers physical attack. Again, same range as the previous one. And she has Splendid Guard Crush, which lowers physical defense, inflicts water slash damage. And again, the range is like, you know, that range 1, scope 3 lateral, which is a square around her. The reactive now that she gets from this is Stance of the Ice Swordsman +2. Now, from what I know and from what I've read for the subreddit, this is actually a global exclusive upgrade for this character. So she doesn't have this in Japan. So again, this is something relevant that I'm going to be mentioning in regards to JP, the differences between JP and global. So this is something that she has that she doesn't have in her Japanese version. So this is very, very good. Very comparable to Vettel's reactive ability. And of course she gets Guardian, which is amazing because it raises her physical defense and her max HP. Now, what do I think of Selena overall? Out of the box, she's actually really useful. If you happen to pull just one copy of her, you have her Ice Swordsman class available, which is fairly tanky. It's very comparable to Logi's Holy Knight and Chloe's Holy Knight. Not nearly as good as the Holy Cavalier, but can still hold its own. Her Magic Swordsman class is, again, very good. In regards to her, you won't really be using it as much, but it is definitely useful for leveling it up because you want to max out the basic Magic Blade, so you can give Selena the elemental flexibility. And of course, her last class, Ice Princess, which is the equivalent of Holy Cavalier, is by far her most recommended class. Selena is an amazing tank. She deals a lot of damage and, you know, receives damage far less back, just like Vettel, except remember, she is the water version, essentially, of Vettel. And the ability setup that you want to run with her is Treasure Blade, Basic Magic Blade. Now, I know on the news, when this character was first introduced, they said they recommended Basic Treasure Blade. I actually disagree with that, and I would give her Basic Magic Blade to give her more of the elemental flexibility, and also it's very useful for Arena. You want to give her, obviously, Stance of the Ice Swordsman +2, and just like Vettel, you want to give her Guardian and Divine Shelter. So what do I think of her as a character overall? I think Selena is amazing. Right now, she shines by far the best in Arena because there's so many Vettels running around, and she is a direct counter to Vettel because Vettel is essentially her polar opposite, which is a fire tank, whereas she is a water tank. Now, something I want to do for you guys is I want to give you guys a side-by-side comparison at how she compares to Vettel, since they're just so similar. Now, my Vettel is also level 74. Just like my Selena, I mastered all 3 of his jobs, so that way he gets the bonuses from all of them. I also have all of his equipment fully leveled up, and I also have a level 25 Charming Blade and Curious Doll, just like how I do on my Selena. So let's go ahead and compare them. So HP, with this setup, Selena gets 1,106 HP, where Vettel only has 761. So HP, Selena wins hands down. She has way more HP than she does. Now, looking at attack, Vettel has 392. Selena has 385, so Selena deals a little less damage by 7 points, but it's not really too significant. From my experience, it's almost very comparable. Selena has 387 physical defense, whereas Vettel has 379. So again, Selena seems to be more the tankier one between the two. Magic attack, 169 for Vettel, and another 169 for Selena, so they're equal in terms of magic attack. So you want to both give them, you know, basic magic blade to take advantage of that magic attack. Magic defense, Selena has 142, and Vettel has 138. Again, Selena seems to be winning as far as who is tankier between the two of them. Dexterity, which affects their physical attack and also affects their hit rate. Vettel has 295, where Selena just has 293, a 2-point difference. So in a sense, this tells us that Vettel is going to be hitting a little harder and also has a higher hit rate. But 2 points is very a minuscule difference that you'll hardly see a difference. Now, agility, this is where it kind of matters. Selena is at 85, whereas Vettel's at 87. So Vettel is slightly faster, so he will take his turn before Selena does almost 100% of the time, unless you give Selena a piece of gear that increases her agility. Crit rate, Vettel has 220, Selena has 220, they are equal. Luck, Selena has 234, Vettel has 228, meaning Selena has a little bit of a better chance of acquiring treasure from an enemy when she defeats them than Vettel does. Combo, Vettel has 23, Selena has 25. Again, Selena takes that. Selena has a higher chance to combo off of her allies. And then move and jump, she has 3 and 1, and just the same as Vettel, 3 and 1. So hopefully that helps you guys in comparing the two of them. If I were to say who was better, I'm actually going to say Selena is. More HP, more survivability, a little less damage, but it's honestly... it's hard to see because the number difference is very low. The only thing that Vettel has is the speed, so he will tend to go first. But right now, I would say Selena is definitely the better unit of the two. Alright guys, well hopefully you guys enjoyed that character spotlight on Selena. I hope you guys, find this very helpful in kind of learning about the character itself and seeing if you should be investing in her and, training her up if should you happen to pull her from the current Brave Frontier collab gacha. Guys, don't forget to give my video a like, subscribe if you're new for future Alchemist Code content. Once again, I am the Broadway Saiyan, my name is 40, stay tuned for another video. Mahal everyone.